going to talk about what you can do in 9th grade to increase your odds to get a full ride scholarship in college.
Hoop loudy.
If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, what you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I put out information every week to help you both on and off the basketball court. Whatever's going I can give you to help you that I wish I would have had, I'm giving to you for free. So subscribe to the channel as soon as you get a chance because I don't want you to miss anything. Quick disclaimer, I did not come up with this video to give you false hope that if you do all these things, if you check all these boxes, then you'll get a full ride scholarship. It's tough to get a scholarship, period, let alone a full ride scholarship. But if you do these things, in which I highlight in these videos, I guarantee you, Craig, that it will help you out in the long run and increase your odds of getting a scholarship. These are things that I wish I would have known in 9th grade that would have increased my odds of getting on to that next level. I would have had more opportunities if I would have known these things in 9th grade. That would have helped me out tremendously. Now, why am I giving you this information now when you're in 9th grade? Because when you're in 9th grade, you have time to plan for college. Now, when you're a senior, when you're in junior, a lot of times it's not too late, but it's tougher. And I want to make sure that you already have a chance in 9th grade to see what's ahead of you and start planning forward. That is the purpose of this video. So get out your pens, your pads, and make sure you jot this down. This is going to help you out. Number one, the first thing you need to do is educate yourself on what is required of you academically. So the NCAA has requirements that you have to adhere to if you want to play Division I, if you want to play Division II, if you want to play Division III. They have requirements that you have to adhere to as far as GPA is concerned while you're in high school, as far as ACT and SAT scores. Do yourself a big favor and do not wait until you're a senior or junior in high school for you to try to figure this stuff out. That's less time that you can actually work on it. The more amount of practice you have for these standardized tests, the better. You don't want to get yourself in a situation where you have to make all A's your last semester to make the GPA requirements you need in order to play at the level of basketball that you want to play in college. And I want you to do this so you won't have any surprises when you get to your senior year about what you need in order to play at that next level. So if you're new to this channel, you may not know that I don't just talk about athletics as it relates to that student-athlete experience, because there's so much more that goes into it. There's social aspect, there's the academic aspect, there's the athletics aspect. There's a lot of things holistically that you need to know about to be your best you as far as being a student-athlete. Next one is going to shock you a little bit because it has nothing to do with athletics. Number two is, I want you to get in the habit of reading more than what your teacher wants you to read. A rule of thumb, if you read a book every 2 weeks, I know that sounds crazy. Bill, why would you tell me to do something like that? That's not gonna help my jump shots. That's not gonna help me in the gym. I also know that the individuals that are more well-read are those individuals that do better in college. And they do better in college because it takes them less time to retain information. Now me, from my background, failing the 6th grade, got associate promoted from the 8th to 9th grade, special education classes, much of my time before I got to high school. Someone like me, since I didn't come up with a diet of reading on a regular basis, when I got to college and they gave me assignments, it would take me 10 times as long to read the information. It took somebody else that had a better diet of reading to retain the information and go on to the next thing, to go on to the next chapter. What I'm telling you is this: you are going to miss out on a lot of opportunities if you can't read. That sounds bad. That sounds like I'm trying to make fun of someone. If anything, I'm looking myself in the mirror. I wish this is something that someone would have told me, that if it takes you twice the amount of time to read and retain information, you're going to be behind before you even know you're in the race. Now I'm about to go back. Number three. Now I'm about to go back to the athletic portion real quick and say this: don't be playing with scrubs. I know that sounds bad. That sounds like I'm trying to be offensive, but don't play with scrubs. Why don't you want to play with scrubs? Well, 2 reasons primarily, but I can think of a million. One is you increase your odds of getting hurt. Okay? You increase your odds of getting hurt. When you're dinking around, not getting better, playing against people that you know you're better than, when you're not getting better, you're not helping yourself. You run the risk of getting hurt. And if I'm going to get hurt, at least I'm getting hurt playing against some competition that could get me better. Number two, when you play against scrubs, you develop bad habits. You develop bad habits that will get exposed when you play against somebody of some real caliber. The stakes are raised. I don't want you to miss out on opportunities. I don't want you to develop bad habits because you was dinking around and playing against some people that weren't even on your level in the first place. Just got to be honest about the situation. You don't have to tell. Listen, I'm not endorsing you go tell that person that. Hey man, you ain't on my level, dog. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, you just got to take an assessment of the situation. You really got to look at it and say, look, this is going to benefit me. No, then I can't be playing. 4, this is another one. And it goes in the same, it kind of goes with number 3, and that is, start playing against people outside of your city limits. It is easy. It is super easy to get in your mind that you're going to Duke University. Coach K's just about to call you. You're going to be one and done. It's going to be amazing. First round draft pick. All the women going to love you. All the girls going to love you. Listen, I get it. It's easy to get in your own mind when you don't set out. It's easy to get in your own mind when you don't step out of your city limits. It's easy to think you're going to be McDonald's All-American, go to Duke University, first round draft pick, first pick of the first round is going to be you. It's easy to think that when you don't play against nobody, man. You don't play against anybody. Just because you the man or the girl in your city, that does not mean anything. Especially when your doggone town is population 500, okay? Especially. But even if your population is 30,000, still, you have to make sure you make a valiant effort to play people outside of your city limits, because you got to understand that once you do that, you expose yourself to other talents, and guess what? They may be the best of the best in their area. And that gives you a real good assessment of who the talent out there. I don't want you to be surprised when you see real competition. You may be the best in your area, that's fine. You may be the best in your area, that's fine. But these college coaches, when they go out there and give scholarships, they're not looking for the best of the best in your 10,000 population city. They're looking for the best of the best in your state. They're looking for the best of the best in your region. They're looking for the best of the best in your class, meaning 5A, the whole class of 5A in your state, the whole class of 6A, 7A, whatever. They're looking for the best of that. And you don't get to see that if you're so hell bent on I'm the best in my neighborhood. Nobody don't care. They don't give scholarships about who the best in the neighborhood. They don't care nothing about your neighborhood, dude. So look, step outside, whether that's AAU games, whether that's just going to gyms outside of your city limits, whatever it is for you to be exposed to other talent, then do so. And another thing about that is not only outside your limits, this should have went with the one beforehand, but making sure that you play against people that are bigger and stronger than you are. They need to be bigger and stronger than you for you to get something out of the situation. They need to be able to shoot better than you, run better than you, jump higher than you. You should have to stretch when you're going to play, when you're playing against individuals. If you're comfortable, it's not growing you. If you're comfortable, it's not growing you. And 5, come up with a stretching, flexibility regimen, and also this is the time that you need to start taking weightlifting seriously. Now, let's start with weightlifting. Why do I say weightlifting? When I was in high school, I went to 3 different high schools, but one of the high schools I went to was Northridge High School in Layton, Utah. And at that time, they won state for football for 3 years in a row. I think 3 years in a row they won. And what I hated about them winning is this. Maybe it had nothing to do with them winning. Maybe it just had something to do with them being football players. What I hated was we would be, like, they were tryouts, and there were like 3 weeks that we were doing tryouts, 3-4 weeks we were doing tryouts. I was holding my own. I was one of the best guys. But all when the football players showed up. The football players showed up, And I was like up here. When the football player showed up, I was down here, okay? I still wasn't the worst guy out there, but I wasn't one of the best either. What happened was football players were able to gain spots on the roster because they were just so much bigger than everyone else. They were stronger than everybody else, right? Like they would go in the lane and people would just be bouncing off of them. It wasn't a big deal because they were in the weight room, obviously, because they're from the football team. So and I used to grind my guts that they were able to get starting positions, mainly because a lot of them were just stronger than us. And they were agile. Like there were things that they brought to the table because they were stronger that we just missed out on. And that would be the same thing for college. You'll hear people talk about a high school basketball player and say he's already college ready. Look at him. Look at his shoulders. Look at his chest, his biceps, his triceps. He's already ready for that rigor he's about to face in college. He's already going to be ready for that. He's already going to be ready to be durable in that sense. And obviously, if you take weight training seriously early on with someone that knows what they're doing, don't just get in there and just start slinging up weights and hurt yourself, because then you'll be counterproductive. Go in there, proper form. Don't worry about who can bench press the most. That doesn't matter. But proper form and taking care of your mechanics as far as weightlifting will help you out tremendously. Tremendously. And then when we talk about flexibility, this is one that people don't talk about, but you hear the NBA pros talk about this all the time. When you talk about LeBron had played in the league for over a decade before he even had his first injury. And if you look at some of his interviews, he'll talk about how he's taking care of his body. How he's taking care of his body. Proper stretching, proper eating, proper weightlifting. He just got that groin injury this last year with the Lakers. He had not had any injuries beforehand. Now, so he hadn't had any injuries beforehand. Now, many of us, when we're young, we feel like we're gonna be young forever. We think like stretching is no big deal. But what I'm telling you is the more that you're flexible, the less chance. The more that you're flexible and durable because of weightlifting, the less chance that you're going to be out because of injury. So those are the two things that I will also say. Starting your 9th grade year, stretching on a regular basis. Stretching on a regular basis. Not just before a game, not just before practice. It could be before you go to bed. Stretching 15, 20 minutes will help you out beyond belief. So I hope this information gave you something that you didn't know before. I hope I was able to peel back the curtain a little bit so you can see how it really is once you get to college in the sense of the things that really, really matter. Keep in mind, I didn't just tell you about how to jump high, how to dribble between your legs, how to shoot better. I actually gave you a little bit of trinkets as it relates to academics as well. So reading is important, my dude. Reading is important. All right, so making sure that you add that, making sure that you are knowledgeable about what's going to be required for you to even play at this level you want to play at. Taking some accountability. So many individuals want to blame it on their coach. You know, I hate that. Everybody wants to bash their coach and say, my coach didn't get me recruited. My coach didn't know me. My coach had me in these classes. My coach didn't tell me I was supposed to take this class. Whose job is it really? It's yours. It's not your coach's. So again, taking that accountability and knowing what's going to be ahead is going to help you out in the long run. Now, if you didn't get this information to you in 10th grade, listen, I get it. Sometimes you get a little late. If you didn't get it to 11th grade, I get it. If you didn't get it to 12th grade, I get it. It's going to be tougher for you guys. 9th grade is that ideal. 9th and 10th grade, that's the ideal time. I didn't start playing basketball until I got to 9th grade. And I was very fortunate and blessed enough to get a scholarship in college playing basketball. But what I'm saying is you have to know this stuff beforehand, because the closer you get to your senior year, the tougher it's going to be. So as always, whether it's on the court or off, in the classroom or out, graduate and subscribe to the channel. Hoop Loudy.
Hoop Loud ears.